everyone, how's it going? My name is Liz Yang and welcome to Crypto Builders of New York City, a show that shines a spotlight on crypto builders, founders, and visionaries, right here in New York City, the crypto capital of the world. Today I'm joined by Abril Zucchi, who is a Devrel leading the AI vertical with Abstract, the leading L2 for consumer crypto. Welcome, Abril.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
On Twitter, you're known as O1 Visa Girl, but I feel like that's just the tip of the iceberg for your story. So I'd love to hear from you. What was your childhood like in Argentina? Why you decided to move to the US and so on?
The way that I grew up in like a low-income neighborhood in Argentina. And, I never seen the world. I left Argentina for the first time in 2022.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yes. So I didn't have like a very, open vision of the world or what are the things that I can achieve for myself. And I remember in 2020, it was my last year of high school. And I was very struggling with just what I'm going to do after high school. I wanted to continue the university. I wanted to start university and continue that path. But at the same time, we were going through a very bad financial crisis in Argentina, but also in my family because we closed our business. So it was like a very hard time. And I just sat down one day and I was like, okay, I need to figure it out my life. I need to figure shit out, literally. And that's when I decided to drop out of high school in my last year and not follow the traditional path of going to college and instead just literally focusing on two things, learning how to code and learning English. I think the first thing was definitely easier in terms of, I think it's because I was very resilient. There were a lot of people like my mom, my grandma, like friends around me that were very doubting my abilities to succeed. And honestly, it's fair, right? Like, it's very fair. But I decided to just do it because I had, that faith on me.
You had that dog in you.
I know. I had that dog on me. And I just said, fuck it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to jump to it. And I just started to take courses online on YouTube. Start to code when vibe coding wasn't a thing. I wish we had Cursor back then, but we didn't. And I got my first job as a Angular front-end developer, and I was getting paid, I remember, $100. But honestly, that gave me such motivation.
It was a proof point that what you were doing was succeeding.
Exactly. And honestly, I will say what brought me here was the struggle. I struggled a lot economically. I didn't have a lot of things. I wanted to have a lot of things. I've been always very ambitious, but I think what really makes you ambitious and resilient is the struggle, right? Like, I was also going through a lot of like family stuff. I didn't have a relationship with my dad and stuff like that, and my mom, not too good. So I just wanted to build a better life for myself. I think I always say that if I had everything, like rich family, and I was a rich kid, I will never be here sitting here
guaranteed.
Talking about what I did.
Oh yeah, totally.
Exactly. And then I started to escalate through like, $100 salary to $800, and then I started to really jump. And the biggest jump was when I finally learned English, and I got my first American job in 2022. And then, that kind of like brought this like desire of moving here and see what's there, right? Like, see what's next. I feel like I have this toxic, or maybe not too toxic, desire of achieving something new every year. So last year I achieved, I started my visa process in March. In July I got approved. In August I moved. And then this year I'm actually processing my green card.
Cool. So congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Wow, what a remarkable story. I feel like you've achieved so much in the last few years. And I wanted to hear from you how you decided on the path of coding, and from where you grew up, like how you even knew that was a viable career option.
I was on Twitter scrolling. I was very into politics before because I wanted to be a lawyer. And I remember I was seeing people recommending like a Udemy course on JavaScript. And they were like, oh, you can, if you want to get a job in dollars, that was my goal, to get a job in dollars while living in Argentina. You can study JavaScript and get a remote job because of COVID. It was like the perfect timing because American companies started to work remotely, fully. So they started to hire cheaper talent abroad. So that was like it was honestly such a good timing to start.
Wow. So you first heard about that through Twitter.
Yes.
Wow, it's so full circle.
Exactly.
Right?
So
Okay.
it was honestly, for a lot of people, COVID was such a bad time. For me, it was, if it wasn't because of COVID and I had a lot of free time, I don't know what I would be doing.
No, it was a catalyst.
Yes.
It was an opportunity for you in terms of
Exactly.
the global job market.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. And in terms of learning English, how were you able to stay on top of, progressing as a developer and also trying to accelerate your English capabilities?
When I was trying to learn Solidity, there were no Spanish courses. And I was trying to grow my Twitter account. So that's when I started to actually create content. I remember I was creating a lot of content in Spanish, but I was translating all the Solidity content in English to Spanish. So that was a way to learn, actually. I was kind of studying at the same time and learning English. And then when I came to America for the first time was in February 2023. When I stepped in America for the first time. So it was not too long ago, actually.
Wait, where were you? Where did you visit as your
East
first stop?
Denver. So Denver.
Oh my God, sorry about that. Sorry,
I
that was
know.
your first
I know.
exposure to
It was
the
my
United
first
States.
experience. Yeah. But then I went to New York after that, and that was life-changing. And I started to make a lot of friends, American friends. Then I remember I had a boyfriend that was American. And at the beginning, I remember we were communicating through Google Translate.
No, but honestly, when I lived in Germany, I always told people the best way to learn a language is
dating
to go
someone.
on Tinder. No, literally, because I
Literally.
was practicing this. I guess when you go on a dating app, you're just practicing a lot of small
No,
talk.
literally,
right? Yeah.
literally, it was my hack. It was I had my boyfriend American, and he was we were fighting, so I needed to learn, to fight and to argue with him.
No, and when you're mad and you can speak a language, that means you're really good.
Exactly.
Because usually
no,
you forget,
I can be
right?
so good at it when I'm fighting. Yes. So that's what I literally learned like that.
Wow. Okay. Amazing. And how did you, discover crypto? What was your first foray into crypto?
It was actually also Twitter. I saw that I started to follow a lot of developers from Argentina, and they promoted this DeFi event. So I was like, what is DeFi? I started to learn about it. I just got my first deposit on Binance.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I was learning through it. And I went to that first event in DeFi. There were all men. Right now, the Argentinian community had a lot of women. But back then, I was probably the 4 or 5 women. And it was such a good energy. It was a different energy from what I was used to, So I just got more into it. They invited me to a Telegram group. I discovered what Telegram is, stuff like that. And it was a slow process, but I feel I really did my best work to kind of scale my account, and people started to know me in Argentina. And it was crazy because I was just new, I was this girl just came here, and after a few months, I already had 20K followers. And, it was a big jump, honestly. I think I really did a good job, and I think I'm very good at this, at scaling things. I'm good at scaling products and scaling just my personal brand, And that's a skill that I needed to develop in order to succeed.
I'm wondering, is there anything that makes you homesick for Buenos Aires?
My family, I feel I'm very connected with my grandma. And I really miss her.
Yeah.
It's something that I talk to her every day. There's no day that I don't talk to her.
I think it's really sweet that you're so family oriented, and I'm sure your parents and your grandma are really proud of you for making it in the big city, because it's not easy even for Americans.
100%.
And far more so for someone who's not even from here. So I wanted to talk to you about the crypto scene in Argentina versus in New York City. So I know there's a lot of really cracked devs in Buenos Aires, as you've posted about on Twitter. And I'm really curious about what it's like to work in Devrel in Argentina versus New York City as a crypto dev.
What I notice here, people don't really have an actual use case of crypto. And I feel that's a really hot take, because people can argue that, but really, it's not an important use case. In Argentina, the way I got into crypto is because we had a limit in the bank of $200 per month to actually be able to buy dollars. You could only buy $200 per month. And imagine right now I'm not sure if the devaluation of the local currencies is still bad, but back then, like 3 years ago, it was horrible. 200% of inflation annually, right? So no one wants to hold Argentinian pesos. And the only way to actually hold value is stable coins, because you can't buy dollars legally more than 200, and who wants to just have $200, right? So I feel like I found the use case in crypto like that, in stable coins. Everyone holds value in crypto. And it's like an actual use case, because otherwise you lose money every day if you hold your money in Argentinian pesos. So crypto allows you to do so, right? And I think here is not really necessary. I mean, dollar is a very strong currency, not the strongest, but strong. And I think people don't really see the value here. Is probably more like gambling and, I don't know, things that we see every day, right? Like things that I don't think in Argentina matter as much. I think in Argentina, people are actually building real products, financial, like, I don't know, for example, fintech companies are launching like debit cards, like Bello, Lemon Cash. Those are like the most famous debit cards that you can pay with crypto. I feel like developers are actually building towards a purpose. Here, people are just trying to get rich easy.
Right.
Which is not wrong, but that's the main difference I kind of sense from both regions.
No, that's such a good point. And I think, of course, Americans were excited when the Genius Act was passed. But, it's important to remember that most of the stablecoin volume that occurs actually does not occur in the United States, because it's a proxy for access to the US dollar, which we already have easy access to, right? But I'm really curious to hear more about these Argentine startups in crypto that have real product market fit. For those in the audience who might not be familiar with them, can you talk through some of those use cases?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so one of my favorites actually is Bello. They are very big in Brazil actually, and it's a challenge to be big in Brazil, because it's a completely different language and also it's huge, right? It's like a different market. They also have a debit card, and the product is so user friendly, and I think that's what we need the most in crypto right now. And we've been dealing with that for many years at this point. I don't think it's really fixed. And then another one is Lemon Cash. Lemon Cash is another like debit card where you can pay with Argentinian pesos, but you can also hold USDT, Ethereum, like different stable coins, and then you can pay with that just in a local like basis, right? Like in a daily basis, sorry.
Oh, interesting. So basically the debit card allows you to pay with stable coins.
Exactly.
And it's necessary to convert your salary from pesos to stable coins to hold its value, so it doesn't depreciate.
Exactly.
I see.
Yeah, so you can just like have it there, right? Like you can transfer Argentinian pesos there, and then you can swap it to USDT, and then you can spend USDT with the debit card.
That is a true use case. And not to put you on the spot or anything, but do you have like a rough sense of what percentage of people in Argentina use crypto or use products like these?
I don't have a percentage, but I will say most young people like me or teenagers are very aware of what crypto is. Especially, I will say, there's a lot of adoption in low-income neighborhoods. Me coming from one, I talk to a lot of the people in high school, in just the neighborhood, and they are aware of what it is. They might not understand it very well, and I think that's where we need to do better. I think it's something that we should definitely educate people in colleges, in high school, in primary schools. But people are interested on it. And that's the key, right? Like people think about that as a value, and not like here it's like you talk to people sometimes, even in SF. It happened to me where I talk to people and they think crypto is a scam, right? And in Argentina, I feel like it's kind of like the opposite. People think of crypto as like an opportunity, right?
Yeah, no, it's very true. My brother, he actually studied computer science at UC Berkeley. It's a very good program. And he was literally taught by professors in his program that crypto is a scam.
Wow.
Right? So there is it's a very polarizing topic in the United States. But something I'm curious about is in Argentina, of the people who are anti-crypto, what are their reasons for being anti-crypto, given that there is such a strong use case for it?
I think people are just ignorant on the topic. I think some people think that it's a scam because, of course, in every single country and community, there's gonna be people trying to scam and grift. But that's the only misconception I've seen. But again, in the community, people are very, very smart and building towards like this purpose of stablecoin adoption in emerging markets.
I wanted to switch gears and talk about your work at Abstract. So for those who might not be deeply familiar with what Abstract is up to since, the original announcement or original launch, what are some of the big things you'd like to highlight?
I've been working as a developer relations, just helping teams one-on-one to kind of, on all technical aspects, to have successful launches, documentation, developer experience. And since June, I started to work in this new role as leading just all the AI stuff. And that means just talking to founders one-on-one and getting more into the AI vertical on Abstract, because I think we've done a really good job on growing the consumer side, but we didn't really focus on AI. So now that's my job to kind of like bring the best products into Abstract.
Are there examples of teams that might have been on a different chain and then they came to Abstract and they saw a lot more traction, a lot more users and things like that?
For sure, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely going to see this month, September, we're going to see a lot of new AI products. I think it takes a little bit of time, to kind of like select the best of the best. But ultimately, our main goal is to be the distribution platform for these projects. And when I say that, I really give this example of Steam. If you play video games, you probably use Steam in the TV, right? Like you go to Steam to find different video games. And then if you're a founder of a video game company, you want to launch on Steam. Why? Because everyone is there. Everyone is trying to play a new game every single week. And then you get a lot of traction and new wave of users. So we want to be the same. We want to be the place where you go, launch, get those initial users, distribution, product market fit, and then we succeed together. So that's what we're trying to do. And that's why I spent a lot of time this last few weeks and months just talking one-on-one with AI founders, not only like crypto AI, but also just like I went 2 weeks to SF, Silicon Valley. I spent a lot of time in Palo Alto, just talking to AI native founders, right? Like they don't know anything about crypto. It was hard to pitch them because they have a misconception of crypto. But, ultimately we want to be consumer for everything. Games, NFTs, AI, everything.
For those AI founders that you talked to in the Silicon Valley who did express skepticism about crypto, what were the things that you told them about Abstract or about crypto generally that they did find interesting?
I just use a lot of storytelling. I feel like when I go to SF and I start to tell them, I'm like I'm a very loved person in SF because I'm immigrant, 22, crypto, Argentina, yes, they love that story. And I really try to always do the storytelling first so they can see where the crypto use case came from,
No, for sure. I feel like you were probably such a good ambassador of crypto, because normally when someone who's not super familiar with crypto, they think about crypto, they're like, oh my God, these scammers, like just gambling use cases.
Launching like stuff that no one really uses.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. There's a prediction market on like some crazy news event that might be unethical. But when you tell your story, I think it's very sobering because it's like, oh my God, of course.
It's relatable.
Exactly. It's relatable. And I think it's easily understood by everyone, like why this could make sense.
Exactly. So
right.
that's my main goal. It's like, I don't go to people to pitch them about only abstract and just like, oh yeah, come to my chain. No, it's like, okay, this is why I see crypto as a really good use case. And maybe I can convince you that it's not only a scam, like there's people out there that are actually building with a purpose, and that's why we're here.
So, Abril, can you give us a little overview on the state of crypto and AI? Are there any use cases that you think are maybe overhyped and not super real? And are there some use cases that you think are still underrated?
This is a hot take, or maybe non-hot take, but most crypto AI projects are a scam. Like people are using that buzzword to raise a lot of money, and they end up doing nothing. So I'm actually very selective with the teams that I decide to talk to, because I think one of the use cases that I'm more excited about is DeFi. I think DeFi is very complicated. Even the most crypto native users don't want to be, dealing with all the flow of, investing and staking and this and that. I think it's like a very repetitive process that can be automated. Mm-hmm. I think agents can really solve that for you. Ultimately, I would love to see a world where agents can control a wallet, like your wallet, and it can be safe and also automated. So I think that's one of the use cases that I'm most excited about is agents just trading, like autonomous agents trading for you. And maybe I believe I'm not a good trader at all. I believe the agent is going to be better at trading than me. So I feel like that's the thing that I'm most excited about, and I'm trying to bring that more into abstract, especially because we built a wallet that is very easy to use, right? We implemented session keys, so you don't need to deal with pop-ups for every transaction. We have native account extraction. You can sign up with email. It's like a very friendly UX. So imagine that, but with agents, it's like a very nice and I will say like friendly door for just new people that are trying to get onboarded into this industry.
Talk to me about some exciting crypto and AI use cases on Abstract. Like, what projects are you the most excited about?
So right now, I will say we don't have a lot of AI projects, but they're gonna launch this month. I have a lot in the pipeline.
Okay, soon,
that are gonna
TM.
be soon to be defined. No, I'm working one with each team to kind of help them to have a successful launch, because we try to push the AI narrative this past few weeks, and we're gonna continue to do so. And so yeah, I'm very excited for the new projects. I will say there's a lot of trading agents, DeFi stuff. Also because we're growing the DeFi ecosystem, so it makes sense to add agents into it. I love games as well.
Cool.
I can talk publicly about it, but I will say very fun games that you can play around with agents.
Something I've heard too about Abstract is that the ecosystem is maybe trending a bit younger compared to some other crypto ecosystems, like Gen Z, maybe even Gen Alpha. So is there anything that interesting you've noticed in terms of behavior or patterns of things that, Gen Alpha or Gen Z are doing on Abstract that they don't do with other ecosystems?
Something that we implemented since we launched is a streaming section. And I think that's something that every young person loves to do, not only because it's fun to be a content creator, but they get rewarded, right? Like we built this a streaming section on the portal where you can natively tip people and ETH, Pengu, different meme coins. It's very fun, and I think young people are having fun playing games while at the same time streaming on the chain. And that's something that I haven't really seen, on other chains, right? I think we tried to build this huge app store where you can find all the projects on Abstract, very curated, and also just have fun watching streams while you're playing a game on Abstract. It's like a all-in-one platform.
So are there any apps on Abstract that you use maybe every week?
Yes. So I play a lot of the games. I love Gigaverse. That's one of my favorites.
What's the format of the game?
It's like RPG.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
So there's a lot of games like that, and I also just watch streams. I like to be doing work and also just see streams, chat with the streamers. I think it's very fun.
What other verticals of streaming do you see? So is it people coding, people gaming? Are there things that you might see on TikTok, beauty and makeup and things like that?
We did have a few months ago, literally live Pilates sessions or yoga.
What?
Yes.
Who organized that?
I don't remember her name, but she's an active streamer.
Oh, wow.
And she was doing yoga sessions, workout sessions in the stream.
That's amazing.
It was very cool.
That's super cool.
So we have things like that, vibe coding, streams, even from our own team members. Jared is one of our Devrels, and he was streaming one time, vibe coding an app, and it was very fun. Yeah.
That's awesome. I feel like that's what these platforms are all about. You need content that's authentic and also fun. It's hard to force content, right? And I feel like a lot of fun content just naturally comes from people who are Gen Alpha or Gen Z. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
you need like an unhinged quality to this kind of thing to make it
Exactly.
successful.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like that's why Farcaster and Blue Sky haven't gotten the same traction, because it just feels like more serious as like a social media platform. But you need like the unhinged Twitter takes. I feel like that's what makes Twitter Twitter, right? Like people say like the
Exactly.
craziest shit on Twitter.
Yes.
Okay, so anything else that you'd want the audience to know about Abstract that we haven't talked about already?
I think in general that we're really trying to grow our ecosystem, especially, well, I will talk by my personal goal, which is grow the AI ecosystem. I think I would love to talk to the best founders out there that are, you know, trying to really push products into blockchain. And yeah, that's something that I really want to focus on. And if if you're seeing this and you're building something really cool, please let me know, because I'll be very excited to talk to you.
So I'd like to close things out with a couple of fun lightning round questions. So starting off strong, rank in order of superiority: Argentine culture, Italian culture, and American culture.
That's a very hard one. I will say Italian, Argentinian, American.
So what about Italian culture places it firmly in first place?
I love Italian people. They have so much culture. Like, it's so, so strong. I love the pasta. I love the music. I love the elegance, the movies, the Italian mafia. My grandma is from Sicily.
Oh, really?
So yes, my grandmother
God.
is Italian.
Okay.
And she came from Sicily. So it's like, all the mafia, like the grandfather, stuff like that. I love it. I love it. And then I will say Argentinian because I'm biased.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
biased. And then American, I will say it's because I love American culture, but I will say it's very like, it's nothing defined, like, because it's such a diverse country that you have so many cultures in just one place that it's hard to define American culture.
Yeah, for sure. There are a lot of pockets. Although I think one thing that feels very American to me is this kind of optimism, sometimes bordering on delusion, where like anything can happen.
100%.
When I lived in Germany, so I assumed like everyone had that, but when I lived in Germany and in other countries, I feel like if you're like, oh, I want to try something new, I want to do this thing that I don't normally do, sometimes people are like, why would you do that? And I feel like in the US, if you tell someone like, oh, I want to try a new thing that I haven't done before, I think most people would be like, hell yeah, like go for it.
They're very excited for you.
They're very excited for you.
100%. That happens in Argentina too.
So speaking of your grandmother, what's the most memorable lesson that you've learned from her?
She's like my role model in many ways because she started to work when she was 13. She had 11 kids. Imagine as a woman just raising like 11 children.
That is crazy.
It's insane, I know. She had 11 kids and she also raised me, so I would say 12. She raised me since I was very like 6 months old.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So she was like a second mom.
She's like my mother, I love her. And she worked until 2020 that she was 74.
What does she do for a living?
She had a lot of things through her life. She was first owning a furniture company. Then that closed because of an economical crisis in 2001. And then she actually was a gambler. So she had like a few years of addiction to gambling in the casino.
Oh, I see.
But then
not
she
like
recovered.
Not like a professional poker player or something. Okay.
No. But she recovered.
Yeah,
and then
see.
she opened a clothes store. And then she run that until 2020. She got a stroke. And then she's like amazing now. So she's such a strong woman. The point of all of that is that she's such a strong woman, and I think because she raised me like that, I learned how to be resilient because of her.
That's beautiful. I love that. And clearly your grandmother has had such a big impact on you. And I'm sure she's very proud of you too.
Yeah, she is. I'm actually she never left Argentina besides when she was coming. Yeah, she never left.
She's never left once.
No.
Wow.
She never left the country because it's very expensive and we were never very like, a lot of money. But I will take her. I told her the other day that I will take her to New York. I'll take her to New York and to Miami so she can be in the beach. And she started to cry. I know. I think I want to, that's how I want to be spending my next few months.
Yeah.
It's just taking my abuela to places that she never been to Italy. I want to take her to Italy, you know?
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Wait, so what's your itinerary for New York? Like, what do you think she'll love?
She doesn't like to walk.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah,
she
that's fine.
can't.
She's older. Yeah.
But I want to take her to like restaurants. She loves to
Yes,
eat. She loves
for
to eat.
sure.
So she probably didn't even try like, I don't know, Vietnamese food or Thai or I don't know,
sushi.
Lebanese.
Yeah.
She didn't try any of that. So I want to like take her
Wow.
to like a new experience, you know, like
That's
new
so
experiences
cool.
to Broadway, to stuff like that. I think.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is really, really sweet. I think that's time well spent.
Yeah.
And you're able to make it happen because of crypto, which I think is really, really
Yes,
cool.
absolutely.
What is your favorite subway line?
I would say the L.
Oh, really?
From Williamsburg. Yeah. I feel like it's like the cleanest line.
Do you think so?
Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's like very easy to get. I mean, I never lived in Williamsburg, but I did live in East Village. And I feel like every time I wanted to go to Williamsburg, it was easy. I just take the L, then come back to Manhattan. And it's like just one line. It's very just like easy to manage. And then I also take the R a lot.
Oh, yeah. I
The
actually
R
do
is
too.
like one of my favorite, I will say.
Do you ever do the thing where you accidentally take the NQ and then you end up in Brooklyn?
Oh my God.
done
Yeah,
that
I did that
so
so
many
many
times.
times. So many
Especially late at
times.
night because they changed the route.
Oh my God, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Or the W, and it's
Yeah.
like, it ends at Financial District.
Yeah,
When I
yeah,
try
yeah.
to go to Brooklyn, I'm like,
No, seriously. Yeah. I like the RW a lot. I like
Yeah.
the 4-5 if you're going uptown
oh,
because
yeah,
it's very
it's true.
fast.
Yeah.
It's like easy to get to Central
Yeah.
Park or, like Upper East Side.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
actually going there tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, taking the 4-5?
Yes.
Well, Abril, thank you so much for joining me today. Really enjoyed our conversation, and you have a very inspirational story. So appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I had a really good time.
Thank you. And thank you for tuning in to Crypto Builders of New York City. I'll see you next time.